Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Wednesday, June 25th, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $, ORION-NWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the Seattle Mariners versus the Minnesota Twins. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 5 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. Happy Wednesday, everyone. And on the thumb, on the left, the best catcher in baseball, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And on the right, the stud center fielder for the Minnesota Twins, Byron Buxton. Now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners at shortstop, J.P. Crawford. Batting second, playing center field, Julio Rodriguez. Tridents up. Let's go M's. Batting third, catching today, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, DHing today, Jorge Polanco. Batting fifth, playing left field, Randy Arozarena. Batting sixth, playing right field, Luke Raley. Batting seventh, playing first base, Donovan Solano. Batting eighth, playing second base, Cole Young. And batting ninth, playing third base, Miles Mastrobuoni. And on the mound for the Mariners with a 1-3 record, ERA of 6.16, it is George Kirby. We're going to need a solid 6 innings out of George, hopefully. And with the weather, just a couple hours ago, there was a, big downpour. So there was a very good chance that this game was going to get delayed or not played at all. So I'm really happy that the drainage system there, in Minneapolis is very, very good. And we're going to actually start on time, which I'm very happy for. Let's get into the starting lineup now here for the home Minnesota Twins. Leading off for the Twins at center field, Byron Buxton. Batting second, playing right field, Trevor Larnach. Batting third, playing third base, Willie Castro. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, playing shortstop, Carlos Correa. Batting fifth, DHing today for the Twins, Matt Wallner. Batting sixth, the former Seattle Mariner, first baseman, Ty France. Batting seventh, playing second base, Cody Clemens. Batting eighth, playing left field, Harrison Bader. And batting ninth, catching today for the Twins, Christian Vasquez. And on the mound for the Twins, a very good pitcher, 7-3 record with an ERA of 3.06. He is dominant. He is Joe Ryan. And we'll be shooting for 20 likes within the first hour, 50 or more overall, and obviously 100 in the donos on every single stream. And I was paying attention to the weather all day today. And if you ended up looking, at some of the shots of the video, there's no way in hell that this game was going to start on time. That's what I was thinking about 2 hours ago. But the rain, let up about an hour ago. They had the tarp on the field as a precautionary, and that definitely was a smart move to keep the, overall field, a majority of it dry. And we're going to be starting here on time. Now, there might be a slight delay somewhere in the middle of the game with a brief thunderstorm, but we'll see. It's about 30% of the area is going to get that. So I'm not sure if it's going to go over, the actual location here or not, but we'll find out. It's Scotty Mack in the building. What's good, man? I hope that you're doing well. I miss you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Megan in the building. What's good? All day in the building. Let's go, baby. Let's go, M's. Tridents up. Yeah, I mean, again, if you're looking at the numbers, Aaron is having a fantastic year. And again, he's going to be leading in most of the categories except for like 2 or 3 with Cal, with ribbies and home runs. But just the simple fact that he's a catcher and all the responsibilities that he has offensively, defensively, leadership, Aaron can win it every year, until he retires, as long as he's healthy and he plays like Aaron Judge. Same thing could be said in the National League, for Shohei Ohtani. He could win it every single year, just based on the talent level of those two guys. But again, if Cal can stay healthy and he can keep putting up these monster numbers, yeah, he definitely has a chance. I'm not sure if they're going to give it to him based on the people that actually have a vote to be able to, say, hey, but if we're really looking at, what he does on a day in, day out basis, if it is truly most valuable player, the Yankees would still make the playoffs without Aaron Judge. Shohei Ohtani, if he's not on the Dodgers, they still make the playoffs. But the Mariners would have 0% chance of making the playoffs without Cal Raleigh. We would probably be 15 games or 20 games below 500. So if that doesn't scream MVP, I don't know what does. And again, we're definitely doing very well starting off, and hopefully we can continue. No problem, brother. Daniel in the building. What's good? Megan with a 20 to get us started off. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. But again, like I said, if there's ever going to be a player that was deserving, of winning the award, it definitely is someone like Cal. I mean, again, Cal is doing something that we've never seen before. Not to say that Aaron isn't having a great year. He is. But again, he's doing things that we've already seen before. Cal is doing something that we've never seen by any catcher in the history of baseball. So for that simple fact alone, that he's doing something that's never been done, by any player at the position, that definitely, deserves a little bit of looks and a little bit of merit, that he's doing something. But again, we're still pretty far out. We're still a month away from the All-Star break. And one thing is for sure, he's going to break the all-time home run record for catchers, which is 48. He's going to get somewhere between 50 and 70, but we just don't really know what that number is going to be. So he is going to break records this year, but again, will he end up being the number 1 home run king in 2025 over Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, even though he's in first place right now with 32? We'll kind of have to wait and see. But again, and this is, even if I wasn't a Mariner fan, I would still be saying the same thing, again, and Aaron is great. He's going to be able to give you a batting average that's ridiculous. He's going to hit a bunch of home runs, but again, if we're actually looking at what that person does, day in and day out, if Judge is DHing, that's all he's doing. Or maybe he's in the outfield, but Cal has a lot more responsibilities than Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, even though Shohei now is starting to pitch again. But again, we'll kind of wait and see and how it all plays out. First pitch from Joe Ryan to JP Crawford. Takes a strike looking low in the zone. 0-1 count. Let me know what you want to do for photos when you have a chance when you're not working, and I'll try to sprinkle them in throughout the broadcast. 0-1 pitch. Takes another strike looking low and away with the slider this time around from Joe Ryan. Behind in the count for JP Crawford behind 0-2. Let's go, baby. 0-2 pitch, and JP Crawford flies out to center, 1 away. Next up for the Mariners, center fielder, starting to get back into his groove, Julio Rodriguez. Tridents up, let's go M's. And again, if we didn't have Julio playing well in these last 2 games, we wouldn't have won. So again, it's nice to be able to see that Julio is starting to turn the page and turn the corner, we hope. But again, he is going to still strike out, looking and swinging, but we love his defense, and hopefully the bat will stay hot here today. First pitch, fouled off high and inside with that sinker, 92 miles an hour by Joe Ryan, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, high and away with that 4-seam fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike from Ryan to Rodriguez. And Joe is money. 7-3 record, ERA of 3.06. That's one of the best records the Mariners have faced on the mound this year. Kirby hasn't been good this year, besides that career, high 14K game. Other than that, again, he's just trying to, get back into baseball shape. And hopefully, George can go 5 or 6 innings a day. Otherwise, the bullpen has been great. The hitting has been great. It's really the starting pitching that's been holding us back. And, we never really have all 3 categories. It's usually 1 out of 3. But, I like where we're sitting right now with the bullpen and hitting. And if that means that we give up 4 runs by the starting pitcher, regardless if it's Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Brian Wu, Luis Castillo, or Emerson Hancock, but we score more than 4, then it doesn't matter. We're going to still win the game, and ultimately that's what we're trying to do. 1-2 pitch, and that one is fouled off high and inside by Julio Rodriguez. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Knotted up here 0 early on. And I do hope that Cal will get some votes. And again, if he ends up, winning the home run title as a catcher, which we've never seen that before in the history of baseball, especially in this modern day age, post-steroid era. You're putting him in a category with guys like Yogi Berra and Johnny Bench and Pudge Rodriguez and Buster Posey, Mike Piazza. That's pretty fucking special. And again, this may not be the last time that we talk about Cal moving forward for the rest of his career. This might be a regular thing for Cal. And it's pretty sweet to see that we got our very own Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani in the Pacific Northwest. 3-2 pitch, and that one is fouled off. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, baby. Let's get those likes up. Let them know. 50 or more. Top of the first inning, 0-0 Mariners and Twins. But again, the cool thing is you're starting to see, Yankee fans and non-Yankee fans, Mariner fans and non-Mariner fans recognizing who Cal Raleigh is. And again, it's just nice to be able to have another name join, those 2 dominant faces of the MLB. It's like, you got Mickey Mantle and you got Willie Mays, and now you got another Hank Aaron that we can talk about, which is pretty cool. And wow, hit by pitch. Okay, we'll take that. I wasn't expecting that on Julio there, but again, that's much better than striking out, swinging, or looking. And that one tags Julio. We'll take it. Next up is big dumper Cal Raleigh. First pitch, low and at the knees with that slider, 1-0 count. But one thing is for sure, Cal is now a household name just based on what he's done this year. But if you go back and look at his numbers since he became a starter, in 2022 with Julio, everyone thought that Julio was going to be the next Ken Griffey Jr. and he was going to be the face of the franchise. And he was for the first couple years. But again, if you look at Cal's numbers, he's hitting 30 to 35 home runs every single year, besides this year with the new torpedo bat. And now he has a chance to get somewhere between 50 and 70. And, again, this might be a regular thing for him. And Julio steals second. Here we go. I love seeing Julio steal bags and now get caught in between the base paths. And now we got a runner in scoring position early. Let's go, big dumper. Let's see if you can homer here for number 33. You're at 32, number 1 in MLB, over Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani for the moment. And hopefully Cal can keep it going here. Trident's up. If we can get a 2-run jack right out of the gates, that would be fantastic. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees with the slider, 96 miles an hour by Joe Ryan. 2 balls and 1 strike with a runner at second, Julio Rodriguez with 1 out. We're knotted up at 0 early. 2-1 pitch, and that one is fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Ryan to Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. Sweet photo here of Joe Ryan that I found. And again, anytime I see something that is kind of out of the ordinary, we got to make sure we have both teams look swaggy in the broadcast, not just the Mariners. And I definitely take my time, trying to go through the best ones that I can find. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second, Julio Rodriguez with 1 out. Hopefully Cal can get a single, double, or an RBI, and best case scenario, a 2-run jack early to give us a 2-0 lead. 2-2 pitch, and Cal Raleigh strikes out looking, which is rare. Paints the corner low and at the knees. And again, nice punch out there by Joe Ryan. We're not haters here. We're going to make sure we give credit where credit is due. Nice electric punch out on Cal. They're not intentionally walking him just yet, but in the second part of the season, after the All-Star break, depending on how many home runs he's at, like over 50, at that point, you may see some of those. First pitch, here from Joe Ryan to Jorge Polanco. Pitch is inside at the knees with the sweeper, 1-0 count. Let's go, Polo. 1-0 pitch. Low and at the knees with the curveball. Sweeper on the first, curve on the second. And again, Ryan is a little wild here early on. And again, doesn't typically plunk too many guys. And hopefully he'll end up being a little wild and we can get him pulled by the 5th inning. But the goal will be 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. And if we can get 1 to 3 runs on this dominant pitcher within the first 5 innings, that should give us a good chance to compete late in the matchup. 2-0 pitch in play. Polo lines out to second, and that is out number 3. Let's go to the bottom of the first inning and see who's up here for the Twins. Leading off for the Twins in center field, Byron Buxton. Batting second, right fielder Trevor Larnach. And batting third baseman Willie Castro. See if we can get a few Aaron Judges here up for Megan before we get back into the action. And I love me some Aaron Judge, even though it is on the rival Yankees. I love me some Shohei Ohtani. And again, what Cal is doing this year is something that we've never seen before. And hopefully it'll be something that we continue to see year in and year out. That would be great. And I love when players have historic seasons, you know, like Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, and even Cal Raleigh, because that means if you own some of their memorabilia, you know, like a rookie card auto that's graded. I got one of Judge, and when I ended up buying it, you know, when he ended up, you know, breaking the home run record clean with 62 home runs with no steroids or PEDs over Roger Maris's 61 in 2022 in Julio's rookie year, I ended up buying one for over $600, and now it's, you know, around the $800 to $900 range within just a couple years. So definitely looking forward to an investment piece in a guy like Aaron Judge, and hopefully that'll be over 1,000 sooner than later. Appreciate you, Megan, getting us started off with the 20. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. You haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 50 likes before the stream ends. And we're at 20 on the dono train because of Megan. 80 to go. Let's get it, baby. Let me see if I can squeeze one more combo photo here for Megan. First pitch, high and inside to Byron Buxton. 1-0 count. George Kirby on the mound, Byron Buxton in the box. And Buxton's having a great year, you know, kind of a player that typically is injury prone, but he's putting up all-star type of numbers in 2025, which is awesome to see. And hopefully he doesn't do too much damage to us in this particular matchup. Buxton on the 1-0 pitch, grounds out to Miles Mastroboni, throw to first to Donovan Solano, 1 away. There we go, baby. Good start. Next up, right fielder Trevor Larnach. First pitch by George Kirby with a knuckle curve, low and away, 1-0 count. And when George Kirby's knuckle curve is on, it's almost unhittable. So we'll see if he can get that knuckle curve in the strike zone. And again, you know, once he starts implementing it, we may even see him throw it 3 pitches in a row, which he normally doesn't do. He usually will throw it, you know, a couple times here and there, but lately he's been throwing it more often. So let's see if he can end up getting a few strikes with it. 1-0 pitch, paints the corner with a knuckle curve again, which is rare this early in the game, but they don't give him the strike call. That's questionable. 2 balls and no strikes with nobody on and 1 out. We're here early in the bottom of the first, 0-0 Mariners and Twins. Larnach in the box, George Kirby on the mound. 2-0 pitch, takes the strike looking with the sinker right down the middle. 2 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Larnach. And again, Kirby 1-3 record, missed the first 50 plus games with shoulder inflammation that he had in spring training. ERA of 6.16, which is not good. He's really only had one good start, so far this year, and he had a, career high 14 Ks. But other than that particular start, he's been very, very shaky. So I'm hoping, that he can keep up with Joe Ryan and they both can pitch 5 to 6 innings and the bats will come alive. There we go, early with the first 20 minutes. That's what I'm talking about, and that's why we need people like you all day, as well as Captain, leading the way, obviously helping out with that. Appreciate you guys. You guys are doing great. 2-1 pitch. That one's fouled off, low and away. Kirby on the mound, Larnach in the box. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on, and 1 out. 2-2 pitch. Larnach grounds out to first. Solano is there, 2 away. Here we go. Next up for the Twins, third baseman, Willie Castro. Let's go, George. We need you, baby. Mariner batters have tallied 59 individual multi-hit games during June. That leads MLB. Willie Castro, first pitch from George Kirby. And that's flied out to the shortstop. J.P. Crawford is there. There we go, baby. A very quick inning there for the Minnesota Twins. Let's see who's up next here for the Seattle Mariners. And the best part about it, with a record of 1-3 and ERA of 6.16, nice to see George not give up 1, 2, 3, 4 runs early where we're looking up at the scoreboard. So nice job by George. Let's keep it up. Next up for the Mariners, in the 5-hole, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Batting second, right fielder Luke Raley. And batting third, the guy that's been almost the most must-see teeth player, not named Cal Raleigh, Donovan Solano. Let's go, baby. Mariners bullpen has a .92 ERA. 4 earned runs and 39 innings pitched over its last 12 games since June 11th. You know what that is? Number 1 in MLB. Seattle relievers have 31 strikeouts, okay? 8 walks, holding opponents to a .149 batting average. And remember, at the beginning of the year, the bullpen, was kind of shaky, but it was decent. And we were hitting, starting pitching was great. Then, after we won 9 consecutive series in a row, we hit a wall. Instead of averaging 6 runs a game, where we were doing about 1 to 3, and everything was bad. Starting pitching, bullpen, and hitting. But now, since this road trip, has started, within the last 5 games, we've scored almost 50 runs. The bullpen has been number 1 in MLB, and that is awesome. Obviously, considering at one point it felt like we were the worst bullpen in MLB. So a lot can change, within a few weeks and a month. And it's kind of funny now because normally starting pitching is our strong suit, but now it's our biggest weakness. And right now, the bullpen and the bats are keeping it hot. And again, it's not going to be one of those things that we're probably going to have all 3 categories fall into our lap, but having 2 out of 3 is ideal. And I think I would rather have the bullpen and the hitting hot and the starting pitching being a little shaky. If they're going to give up 4 runs a game or more with Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Brian Wu, Luis Castillo, or Emerson Hancock, but we score 5 or more, it doesn't matter. We're going to win. First pitch, Randy Arozarena, and that sinker is flied out to right, 1 away. And again, Randy with a very quick at-bat there. Kind of remind me of a little Julio Rodriguez from the past. Work the count, Randy. We're going to need you. Next up, right fielder Luke Raley, who has been absolutely fantastic, as well as Dominic Canzone and Donovan Solano as of late. First pitch, low and at the hips. 4-seam fastball, 91 miles an hour by Joe Ryan, 1-0 count. Let's go, Luke. And again, you never know, with a guy that hustles like Luke Raley, that he'll give you an unexpected homer. Not sure if he'll get one today, but hopefully Luke will be productive. 1-0 pitch, fouled that one off right down the middle with a slider by Joe Ryan, 87 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. Joe Ryan is a fucking machine, 7-3 record, ERA of 3.06. This is going to be the hardest game out of the 4. Obviously, we still, have tomorrow's rubber match at 10:10 a.m. Pacific. We can play in the morning and the afternoon, which is something that we couldn't do in years past. But again, this is going to be the hardest pitcher in the series. And if we can find a way to win here, not only do we win the series, but then we have a good chance to possibly sweep tomorrow. And after sweeping the Guardians, was a little rough against the Red Sox, and then 2 out of 3 against the Cubs, which is incredible. And if we can end up winning 3 out of 4 or sweeping the Twins, we're definitely pacing, to get caught up to the Houston Astros. It'll go from 4.5, 3.5, 2.5, 1, and eventually we'll catch up. Anna in the building, what's good? Agreed, Jerry. Jeremy in the building, what's good? Yeah, but we have to win this game first before we're thinking sweep. Again, and starting pitching hasn't been very good for us, but bullpen has been fantastic. Hitting has been fantastic, and, we'll see where it goes. And Luke Raley, Cody Clemens, that's an error. There we go. And we'll take that. Luke Raley with a little dribbler. And again, that should have been an easy routine play for Cody Clemens. Roger, his dad, shaking his head in disbelief, but we'll take that. Nice job by Luke. And if you notice, he always runs hard, no matter what. Even if it looks like he's going to be out, 99%, you'll always run hard for that specific play right there. For someone to bobble it or have a wild throw to first and went right off the mitt. Nice job. Next up, first baseman Donovan Solano. First pitch, takes a strike looking, low in the zone, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away. Slider, 87 miles an hour by Joe Ryan. No balls and 2 strikes from Ryan to Solano. Let's go, Donovan. And to go from the worst player on the team, besides Mitch Garver and Trent Thornton, to the must-see TV player not named Cal Raleigh and Donovan Solano, what a way to be able to battle back, and not only to be able to be a productive player offensively and defensively, but they chose you over Rowdy Tellez, and it's working. And again, smart decision. And we don't usually say that from management of the Mariners or the ownership. Keeping obviously Dominic Canzone on the roster with Donovan Solano over Leody Taveras and Rowdy Tellez has been a big part of our success in this run. 0-2 pitch. In play and grounded out into the fielder's choice. Raley out at second for that force out, 2 away. And hopefully Donovan will be able to bring some magic offensive and defensively later in the game. I know he will. Next up, second baseman Cole Young. Let's go, Cole. And even guys, like Cole Young and Ben Williamson, they've actually stepped up quite a bit too. For a while when we were in our slump, we weren't really getting anything from either guy. We were getting some great defensive plays, especially from Williamson, and an occasional one from Young. JP usually holding it down at shortstop, getting most of the balls that are close since Young plays second. But, I've definitely seen quite a bit of an improvement out of Young and Williamson lately. And again, it's like Uncle Mo. You want to be able to feed off that momentum off the guys that are hot, like Raleigh, Solano, and a few others. First pitch at the knees, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike from Ryan to Young. Come on, Cole. Let's go, baby. 1-1 pitch. And there we go. Cole Young singles to left, Solano to second. We're very good with 2 outs. And right here is the guy that you would want up. Third baseman Miles Mastroboni filling in for Ben Williamson. He knows he's a single hitter. He's not going to try to, pull the baseball in a way where he knows he's doing something not in his realm. He's not trying to be someone that he's not. And again, he'll take the singles. He's a single hitter. And if we're lucky, we can get an RBI single, RBI double. And it could end up being 1-0 or 2-0 if Mastroboni can connect. What's good, Anna? How are you? Try dance up. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Top of the second inning. Runners at first and second. And again, we are one of the best teams, in the 7th inning and beyond. And we are one of the best teams with 2 outs. So again, a lot has changed in 2025 compared to past years. We're doing things that we normally would never be able to do. And it's just finding that right balance of young OGs, that are coming into their own, and also, the old school players that are a little older, and just finding that right blend of the youth movement and the OGs and making it work. First pitch takes a strike looking outside the zone, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Joe Ryan to Miles Mastrobuoni. Let's go, Miles.
Oh my gosh.
1-1 pitch, low and at the knees with that splitter, 87 miles an hour by Joe Ryan. 2 balls and 1 strike to Miles Mastrobuoni. Come on, Miles. 2-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. And this is what we need right here. Just you to connect with a nice single, keep the inning alive. Let's go, Miles. And obviously, it's very important for the Mariners to score early and often. And again, 1 to 3 runs within the first 5 innings. That'll give us a good shot to compete. And again, you never know. We're always open for a monster 3 to 5 innings, where we end up, mashing with a couple homers and a couple ribbies. So, getting 3 to 5 runs in a single inning is definitely doable for this Mariner team on this road trip lately. I mean, hell, in the last 5 games, we put up almost 50 runs. I mean, we haven't done anything like that in like 20 plus years. So again, we're definitely on the heater and we got to keep it going. 2-2 pitch, fouled off. Nice souvenir for that fan. Pitch was low and away, but in the zone with that slider. 2 balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Miles Mastrobuoni in the box. Joe Ryan on the mound. Let's go. Bring that electricity, Miles. There we go. Great start. 2-2 pitch, low and at the knees. This is the corner that he tried to paint. 3 balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. I'll take a walk here. I'll take a plunk. I'll take anything positive as long as the inning continues. But again, best case scenario, Miles hits a 3-run jack, which would be insane because he's not a home run hitter. He's just like Cole Young and Ben Williamson. It's pretty much just singles. But again, you need good singles hitters to be good in this league. And hopefully we can get an RBI single, RBI double, or even just getting a single to get the inning to continue. Let's go, Miles. And I'll also take a walk if needed. 3-2 pitch. That one's fouled off right down the middle. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Ryan to Mastrobuoni. We're threatening early. Let's go, baby. Bring them home. Let's go, Miles. Top of the second, runners at first and second with 2 outs. Mastrobuoni in the box. Joe Ryan on the mound. 7-3 record, ERA of 3.06. So remember, this is not something that happens to him that often. 3-2 pitch and take strike 3 looking. Brutal. Again, we don't want to leave too many stranded. And Miles typically comes through in that situation. Unfortunately, right there, it gets a good pitcher. He does not. But I still have faith that we're going to be able to put up 1 to 3 runs by the 5th inning. And sometimes you have to get a few hits, a few guys on to get that confidence. And maybe the next inning is the inning that will be able to explode on Joe Ryan. But again, 7-3 record, 3.06. He knows how to get out of jams, and he got out of one right there. Nice job by Joe. All right, let's see who's up next here for the Twins in the bottom of the second. Next up for the Twins, in the 4-hole, shortstop Carlos Correa. Batting second, DHing, Matt Wallner. And batting third, first baseman, Ty France. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. See if I can sprinkle in a couple more Aaron Judge photos for Megan for her dono. Commercials don't last too long, so we'll have to be as fast as possible. But I always like playing the Yankees. It brings out the best in the Mariners, even if we lose. It's not going to be easy. But again, you want to play good teams, to bring out the best in everyone. Instead of playing down to the competition, you want to play up. You want to get up for every game as if we're playing the Yankees in every fucking series. And if you can have that mentality, that we're playing the Yankees, we're playing the Astros, we're playing the Dodgers, you're going to get the very best out of the players, even if we lose. And if we lose, we typically don't get blown out. It usually ends up being kind of a heartbreaking loss, but every once in a while, we will get beat up. But again, I like playing good teams. I don't take it as like an intimidation thing. I look forward to the challenge. And, again, Seattle isn't a team like the Yankees and Dodgers that makes the playoffs every single year for like 10 years in a row. We've only had 4 or 5 good years in 40 years. So again, but with this new regime and this new team, we should be able to go to more playoff appearances than ever in team history. From 2022 to 2042, we should be able to make the playoffs at least 10 to 12 times out of a 20-year period. First pitch to Correa, fouls that one off. Low and at the knees, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike looking, paints that corner beautifully. Nice job by George there. 1 ball and 2 strikes here from Kirby to Correa. Knuckle curve is low and away. 83 miles an hour there by Kirby. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Kirby to Correa. And again, we just have to make sure that the person before Carlos Correa doesn't homer. Because if that person does, Correa gets up, there's a good chance that he will homer. So we got to limit the damage from Buxton and Correa, and we should be good. 1-2 pitch. Change up, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Correa. Let's go, George. Bring that electricity, baby. Kirby on the mound. Carlos Correa, the former Astro, in the box. And Carlos is a super intelligent guy. Don't be shocked if you see him on MLB Network as one of the broadcasters after his playing days are over. Very, very intelligent. Very, very smart. And on the 2-2 pitch, Correa flies out to center. 1 away. Next up, DHing in the 5-hole, Matt Wallner. First pitch from Kirby to Wallner. A foot off the plate, knuckle curve. 88 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Let's go, George. 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike swinging high and away. 4-seam fastball by George. 96 miles an hour. I like it. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. Bottom of the second, we're knotted up at 0. Let's go. One pitch. Big swing and a miss by Wallner. Paints the corner high and inside. Kirby in his bag. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Kirby on the mound. Wallner in the box. And I'm just really happy that this game started on time, even though they had a big downpour. Just a couple hours ago, I was thinking that the game would be delayed at least 30 minutes to an hour, but the baseball crew there at Target Field definitely deserves a lobster dinner after this one. Great performance to get this game started on time. 1-2 pitch. Inside with the 4-seam fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Wallner. 2-2 pitch. And that's grounded out to first base. Solano is there. Here we go. 2 away. Next up, the former Seattle Mariner first baseman, Ty France. And I will always root for players like Ty France and Eugenio Suarez that were on our team but that are no longer. He can have a great game as long as the Mariners win. And again, I always enjoyed Ty as a player. Obviously, I enjoyed Eugenio Suarez even more. Both are having success with their new teams. And hopefully, there is rumors that Suarez might be on the trade block. Obviously, Josh Naylor, would be a good fit. Ryan O'Hearn from the Orioles would be a good fit. Bo Naylor on the Guardians would be a good fit. And Eugenio Suarez. I'm not sure if the Mariners would trade back for him and what that would mean for Ben Williamson's development. But if we could get Gino to come back to the team, imagine how much better the team would be. We could still use Ben as a backup third baseman, when Eugenio needs a day off, or even putting Ben at DH once in a while. But again, Gino, obviously a better player. And, you've seen him and Cal get player of the week recently. And Gino is one of those guys that he might not be a big name guy like Cal Raleigh before this year, but he's a guy that can hit 30 or 40 homers and really make a difference in the game. And he's one of the only players in 2025 to hit 4 home runs in a single game. Eugenio Suarez, good vibes only. Love him. Always watch him. Always root for him. 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Kirby to France. But definitely Naylor and O'Hearn could be really good additions to the Mariners if we were able to get them. because again, we still need a couple more bats, just in case of injuries, and definitely a couple guys in the pen. But, our bullpen has been magnificent lately. Number 1 in MLB since June 11th. I'll take that. Especially when we were on our losing, streak and that slump where we were only getting 1 to 3 runs. We felt like we had a bottom 5 or bottom 3 bullpen. And France lines out to right, and that is a very quick inning there by the Minnesota Twins. Great job by George Kirby here. 2027. Man, I mean, who knows? If you get into the dance, even with the wild card, anything can happen. We know that the Tigers are good. We know that the Astros are good. We know the Yankees are good. But I think the Mariners are right on par with those teams, even though their records are better than us right now, but we'll catch up. And then you got plenty of teams over there with the Dodgers and the Giants and the Padres and the Cubs, Mets and the Phillies. So again, as long as you get in, to the dance, anything can happen. Next up is J.P. Crawford, 0 for 1. Batting second, center fielder, 0 for 0. He got plunked, Julio Rodriguez. And batting third, 0 for 1 with a K, catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And hopefully we can get Cal to leave the building. Let's go. Little bit of a slow start. I mean, we do have 1 hit. They have none, and they have an error. But remember, Joe Ryan, even though we might be, getting 50 runs in the last 55 games, and, we've been raking, you have to look at the pitching. And again, with the pitching, if they have one of their best pitchers on the mound, we can't expect, to get a bunch of runs immediately unless that guy is off or injured, and every once in a while we will, rake on a very elite pitcher like a Skubal or a Skeens. But even Skeens this year isn't as dominant as he was last year, and he doesn't get any fucking run support. Great matchup earlier today, and obviously the new phenom there for the Brewers ended up pitching much better than Skeens. But again, it's a team effort, especially if you're an elite pitcher. That's why Skubal, in my opinion, is the best pitcher in the game, and he has been for the last couple years. Last year you had Skubal, Skeens, and Sale, but I still think Skubal, to me, is the best, pitcher. And he gives me kind of Randy Johnson big unit vibes. He is just so dominant. And when you get a lefty that's good, Sandy Koufax, and Skubal, those type of, players that can bring it, Randy Johnson, very tough to hit. First pitch from Ryan to Crawford, takes a strike looking in the zone, 0-1 count. Let's go, JP. Top of the third inning, 0-0, Mariners and Twins. Let's get it. 0-1 pitch in play and grounded out to third. Throw to first, 1 away. Joe Ryan on the mound. Julio Rodriguez in the box. First pitch, takes a strike looking low and away. Paints that corner beautifully with that sinker. 92 miles an hour by Joe Ryan, 0-1 count. Let's go, Julio. 0-1 pitch, takes another strike looking in the zone, behind in the count, 0-2. I mean, at least he's not swinging at the first 2 pitches, but again, you kind of hope that those end up being balls, not strikes, because essentially you're in the same pitch count if he would have swung wildly on those first 2 pitches. But at least Julio showing a little bit more patience, even though he's still in the 0-2 count. Top of the third, 0-0 Mariners and Twins. 0-2 pitch, low and away. That's what we were hoping for in those first 2 pitches. Slider missing the corner by about a foot or 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes by Ryan and Julio. Yeah, definitely Cal will get a hit or 2 before this game is over. We're hoping a home run. Leading MLB with 32, and hopefully he'll be at 33 or 34 by the time this game is over. Maybe not against Joe Ryan, but maybe against the bullpen. 1-2 pitch, and big swing and a miss, swinging at a pitch that's 5 feet off the plate. Come on, Julio. But even though Julio will still be Julio, and we're always going to have higher expectations for him than any other player on the roster, as long as he can get some sac flies, gets plunked, gets a single here, still steals a bag there. He has been an instrumental part of getting us back on track. So hopefully he'll be able to get at least a hit before the game ends. Next up is big dumper Cal Raleigh. He can hit him from the left. He can hit him from the right. And again, at the end of the day, lefty, righty, We just want this right here. Trident's up. First pitch right down the middle of the cow. Fouls it off. Sweeper, 81 miles an hour by Joe Ryan. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Low and at the knees. Behind in the count 0-2 from Ryan to Cal Raleigh. Come on, Cal. Bring that electricity, baby. Yeah, the NBA obviously isn't what it was in the 80s and 90s, but that is one player that I will go out of my way to watch next season. Definitely to see his development. Good old Cooper Flag. That's good for the NBA. 0-2 pitch. Low and away with that splitter. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Ryan to Raleigh. Jacob in the building. What's good? And down goes Cal Raleigh. And again, it's more of who we're facing, because again, if we were going against a shittier pitcher like we saw in the last 2 outings, we probably wouldn't be sitting at a 0-0 score. We would have at least one, by the first 3 innings based on how we've been playing recently. But again, this is their best pitcher on the staff, arguably. So, and if you look at the record in the ERA, he's pretty fucking good. Much better than Ober and what we were seeing yesterday from that pitcher as well. I see you, Joe Ryan. You're wheeling and dealing, especially if you can get Cal Raleigh out, and he's been hitting like an animal. It definitely shows how good you really are at the moment. All right, let's see who's up next here in the bottom of the 3rd for the Minnesota Twins. Next up, second baseman, Cody Clemens, who homered off Luis Castillo. He's been giving up way too many homers. I think he's given up like 8 homers in his last 4 or 5 appearances, so he definitely needs to calm down, but hopefully we can get Cody Clemens out. He ended up having an error early in the game, and he'll definitely be looking to, make up for that at this at-bat. Batting second in the 8-hole, left fielder Harrison Bader. And batting third, catcher in the 9-hole, Christian Vasquez. And again, when you can go through your batting order, quickly, and you're getting hits, you're getting RBIs, you're getting home runs, then it puts more pressure on the other team. If you're only at the 9-hole hitter by the 3rd or 4th inning, you already know things haven't been really going that well. You're not really getting the hits, but still think that we're going to have a very good chance to win this series, win this game. And if we win here today, even if it ends up being low scoring, 3-2, Mariners win, something like that, even though I think that we can put up more, we'll have a very good chance tomorrow, even with the shaky Emerson Hancock on the mound tomorrow, 10:10 a.m. Pacific. Looking forward to that game as well. I don't think that they paid, way too much, because if you look at what the numbers were back then, to what it is now, if you were to give Julio the contract now, it would be much higher than what it was then. It's just that he's not living up to the expectations with the pressure of being Ken Griffey Jr. 2.0. He was the face of the franchise, for the first couple years. And again, once they had tape of him and knew his tendencies, he hasn't really been that great since his rookie year in 2022. In 2023 and 2024, they figured him out, and they've also figured him out this year as well. And luckily for the Mariners, we actually have the new face of the franchise, Cal Raleigh, and that might be a little bit of a gut punch and a little bit of an ego hit for Julio. But for every Jordan, Cal Raleigh, you need a Scottie Pippen, Julio. And even though Julio may have problems in the box and he doesn't hit as many home runs as we would like, get enough hits as we would like, he's great at defense. Typically, he's good at stealing bags, even though he hasn't been the greatest this year. Eventually, he will get hot, and when he gets hot, obviously, everyone else will hopefully be hot at that time as well. And, again, Julio's one of those guys that is going to disappoint a lot of us just because of who he is, how much money we paid for him, and the pressure of being Ken Griffey Jr. 2.0. But at the end of the day, we're going to want to have Julio on this team. And again, we're a much better team with him in the game when he's not. Remember, any game that Julio doesn't play, think about if we ever have won without him. And again, no matter if he goes 0 for 5, you have to think about the things that he does defensively for us. And again, it's not the same when you have Leody Taveras trying to play center field, making a couple errors, when Julio ended up getting hurt, when he had that line drive by Randy and he got hit on the leg going from second to third. So, I love me some Julio too, But again, Cal Raleigh, that's the face of the franchise. That's the leader. And, if Julio ends up being the second, third, or fourth best player, that'll be completely fine. 1-2 pitch and strikes out looking. Nice job there by George Kirby. There you go, baby. Now, I don't expect a whole lot of Ks out of Kirby. I'm hoping for 4 to 6, against this, Minnesota Twin team. And we're in the bottom of the third, and that is 1 out. Down goes Cody Clemens. Next up, left fielder Harrison Bader. But I got a Julio jersey. I got another Julio jersey that's sewn, that's autographed by Julio. I got a couple graded Julio rookie cards that are worth $200 to $300, a piece. So it's like I got a lot invested in Julio, but again, he just needs to be able to put in more work with Ichiro, Edgar Martinez, Seitzer, watch film, understand how pitchers are pitching to him, and just not, having this ego that, hey, I'm Julio, and that's good enough. Because, if he keeps at this pace, he's not going to be in the All-Star game every year. He'll make it maybe once every 4 to 5 years, not every single year. And then he won't be a Hall of Famer, So again, if he ever wants to be able to, be a fringe Hall of Famer or make an All-Star game 2 out of 3 years and, be a good player for the Mariners with Cal Raleigh, there's got to be a lot that has to change. But again, I still appreciate what he does for us. And there's a lot of pressure on him. But again, luckily we have someone that's better than him so that all the pressure isn't on Julio day in and day out. And obviously some guys can handle it. Other guys, it takes a little bit longer in their careers. And remember, if Julio plays 15 or 20 years, usually you don't hit your prime until years 7 to 10. So again, you might have a breakout year somewhere between years 4 and 6, but usually 7 to 10 is really where you break out if you play 15 to 20 years. 2-2 pitch, and Bader strikes out looking. Back-to-back Ks for our boy, George Kirby, you fucking animal. Let's go. Nice job, George. Down goes Beta. Clemens strikes out looking. Beta strikes out looking. And hopefully we get a strikeout looking or strikeout swinging here in the 9-hole. Catcher, Christian Vasquez. First pitch, low and away. From Kirby to Vasquez, slider, 87 miles an hour by George Kirby, 1-0 count. Yeah, but again, if we didn't give him the money back then, the money would have been higher. Even with what has, transpired since we gave him the money, he still would end up, getting a big contract. And if it wasn't from the Mariners, there definitely would be other teams, Dodgers, Yankees. Can you imagine if we didn't, re-sign him and he ended up being the player that we see as you get Vasquez to fly out to left? What happens typically when players are on the Mariners and they leave the Mariners? What happens? They get even better than what they were here. The Mariners, in Seattle, it's the hardest hitting ballpark in MLB. Just look at, Ty France and, Eugenio Suarez or Adam Jones or any of the guys that we let go, Randy Johnson, Ken Griffey Jr. They do just as good as they did for the Mariners, but sometimes they even do better. Could you imagine, Julio goes to the Dodgers and then turns into like Teoscar Hernandez and ends up being that other piece that they need, or the Yankees pick him up and he has a Juan Soto type of year like Juan had last year for them, and again, sometimes you need a change of scenery, and depending on who's around you. But again, the Mariner, ballpark at T-Mobile is the hardest to hit. And that's not just me saying that. That's based on the experts, looking at, where the stadium is built based on all of the metrics and the analytics. And, for anyone to actually have a good season that is a Seattle Mariner, it's not often, and again, it really shows you how special that player would have to be dominant as a Seattle Mariner. Let's go to the top of the 4th inning, 0-0 Mariners and Twins. But at the end of the day, no matter how frustrated we get, with Julio Rodriguez, we have to just support the best that we can, because he's already locked in with the contract. Us, talking shit and just, beating a dead horse over and over and over again with just negative comments, it's not going to make him better. We just have to point out when he, needs to improve, but also we want to give him the praise when he's, getting better. And again, June has not been kind to Julio. Next up, 0 for 1, DHing Jorge Polanco. Batting second, 0 for 1, left fielder Randy Arozarena. And batting third, 0 for 1, right fielder Luke Raley. Josh in the building. What's good? How are you, bro? Yeah, and again, Julio is a type of player that seems like he will play 15 to 20 years. So, maybe one day, magically, he'll be committed to the game in a way that we've never seen, where he, watches film 2 hours a night, every night after a game is over. He does prep, on who is pitching the next day, puts in extra batting practice before the game, maybe not necessarily after the game, but, just making extra time to work on his craft instead of just being satisfied that you're in the MLB, again. And I know that Julio has dreams and goals, and, baseball is a hard sport. For as much as, we criticize him, it's not like myself or any of the people in the room or anyone out there, would be able to do what Julio does, even when he's struggling. These guys, it's very difficult to be able to do what they do. 1-0 pitch in play, and Polo grounds out to first, 1 away. And to me, I feel like, players that play MLB and the NHL, those are the two hardest sports to play on a high level with consistency. With NFL and NBA, you can get back into the groove, do a little 5-yard slant, get a catch in the end zone, in the red zone, you've been bricking 5 threes, make a layup. You can get back in it. But with baseball, it's a lot harder to hit, especially when they're starting to come out with a bunch of new pitches like the slurve, the slider curve. It's not just 4-seam fastball, 2-seam fastball, slider, curve, knuckle. The game is evolving, especially with the pitch calm, no shifting, and again, I hope the best for Julio, and again, he may never end up being the best player on the team. He may not be a Hall of Famer. He may not be a perennial all-star, but hopefully at one point or another, he'll be more consistent. And when that happens, then obviously the Mariners are going to be going to new heights. And I'm not talking about, who, the Kelseys. First pitch, strike looking, high and away, 0-1 count, which is actually a good podcast. Not very many, people that are playing sports or just newly retired can actually have something that's worth watching. 1-0 pitch, that's a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. 1-1 pitch, and that's a nice single right up the middle, baby. There you go, Randy. And again, we just need Julio to be on like the Polo, Randy, Luke Raley level, and then hopefully just a little bit more consistent. You're never going to be this right here. Julio, you're never going to be this, but if you can end up being consistent and being the second best player and no one can deny it on the team, that's going to make everyone else around them better. Next up is Luke Raley. First pitch, low and away, fouled off, 0-1 count. Is this the inning that we're going to get on the board? Kind of feels like it. I hope so. Jordan in the building, what's good? But again, sometimes, some guys got it and, some guys don't. But I'll tell you what, if Julio, let's say, for example, they didn't give him the contract and he left our team after his rookie deal was done, I can almost guarantee if he went to like the Yankees or Dodgers, he would be putting up a hell of a lot better numbers than he did in Seattle. So it's just a tough ballpark to hit at. And, if you got a better supporting cast around you, if you had Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani and Teoscar Hernandez, and there's no pressure on Julio, all he has to do is be like the 4th or 5th best player, and no pressure whatsoever, then you would probably see him bat 300 and, get 30, 40 homers. So you just have to look at it in a perspective there. And Randy Arozarena gets caught stealing. Fuck, man. We are not good lately on stealing bags. When we were on our 9 consecutive series win streak, we were amazing. We were bunting, we were stealing bags, we were doing small ball. But now it feels like when we steal bags, it's like 50%. Sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't. And we're even getting caught leaning and getting caught in between the base pass. And that never happened at the beginning of the year. Yeah, Julio's young, 24. And Julio could be a guy that could play until he's like 35 to 40. So, top of the 4th inning, Randy Arozarena just got caught stealing there. Not good. And again, I was hoping that this would be the inning that we could get at least 1. But now with that momentum, kind of going away, it's going to be much tougher here. And Raley safe at first by a fielding error by France. What are the chances that you have someone like this who hustles every single time, could have been out 2 times in the game, but ends up being safe on 2 errors just on little slow dribblers. Nice job by Luke Rayleigh. And hopefully this will be the guy that get us on the board. First baseman, Donovan Solano. Let's go, Donovan. First pitch fouled off, 0-1 count. Bring that electricity, Donovan. 0-1 pitch. Takes a strike swinging low and away. No balls and 2 strikes from Ryan to Solano. And again, Joe Ryan, 7-3 record, 3.06 ERA. This is the best pitcher that we've faced in a couple weeks. Oh-2 pitch, and down goes Solano, striking out. Man, Joe Ryan is wheeling and dealing. If Randy didn't get thrown out, I think we would have maybe been able to get one. But now, again, as soon as we starting to threaten a really good pitcher, what happens? Joe Ryan gets out of the jam again. So we're just probably going to have to wait, realistically, unless he has an epic meltdown in the 5th inning or 6th inning. We're just going to have to wait for Joe Ryan to exit and then, dominate at the, back end of the game in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, or at least the 7th, 8th, and 9th. Let's go to the bottom of the 4th inning, and we're knotted up at 0, and we haven't been at a score like this in quite some time. How you doing, Jordan? How are the Reds doing lately? Next up, 0 for 1, center fielder Byron Buxton, who's having an all-star year in 2025. Batting second, 0 for 1, right fielder Trevor Larnach, 0 for 1. And batting third baseman in the 3-hole, Willie Castro, 0 for 1. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Michael in the building. What's good? Help us get to 50 likes before the stream ends. And we're at 20 on the dono train. And again, we're 80 to go to hit that number. Let's go, baby. Gained another sub, and I appreciate every single person that has liked, sub, donated, commented, shared. We're only 14 subs away of 20,900 and 114 away from 21,000. It may take a couple weeks to get that number, but we're going to get it in 2025, which is exciting. And we don't usually bring up the Mariner Moose this early when it's 0-0, but I'm going to do it because I think we just need that extra luck. Anything to give us that extra edge, even if it's 0-0, early on. Let's get it, Maurice. Looking good, my guy. Let's go. First pitch fouled off low and at the knees from Kirby to Buxton. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch from Kirby to Buxton. Fouled that one off again at the hips inside, behind in the count 0-2. And then after this inning is over, I'll go over the stats, but obviously not a lot to talk about hitting-wise, but obviously pitching-wise, we'll go over that here in a moment or two. 2 hits for the Mariners, and Kirby's on a no-hitter right now. It's probably the quietest no-hitter that you could ever think about, at this point, but hopefully it'll be a no-hitter or a one-hitter by the time Kirby exits. But again, with a Kirby almost an ERA of, in the mid-6s, low 6s, 6.16 ERA, 1-3 record. Kirby pitching like he's got a 3-1 record and an ERA of 3.16, and that's what I like to see. 0-2 pitch, low and away with that slider. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Kirby to Buxton. 1-2 pitch, low and away with another slider that misses the corner there. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. We're knotted up here at 0. Kirby with a no-hitter, and hopefully we can continue that moving forward. Five out of the last 6 series. Nice, Jordan. Bottom of the 4th, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Byron Buxton. 2-2 pitch. And grounded out to third. Throw to first. 1 away. There we go. Stand with Ukraine in the building. What's good, brother? Next up for the Twins, right fielder Trevor Larnach. First pitch by George Kirby, takes a strike looking, paints the corner beautifully, knuckle curve. And again, George Kirby, when he's on and he's healthy, he's typically a top 20 pitcher in MLB. And again, he kind of gives me those Greg Maddux vibes. He'll never be as good as Greg Maddux, but again, Maddux was a guy that didn't have to pitch 95 to 100. It was all about location. And again, he would be able to work the count, and he knew how to be able to dominate the game. And, Kirby might be a poor man's Greg Maddux, when he's healthy, but again, you will see flashes of it. And hopefully Kirby will have a nice solid outing before he exits, and we still have a 0-0 game, or hopefully, we get a run or 2 or 3 in the 5th or the 6th. So that way we can have a little bit of a cushion, a little bit of insurance as we go into the 7th, 8th, and 9th later on. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Larnach, and Kirby really hasn't got himself in any jams so far, which is good as well. Not like Joe Ryan, who's got out of quite a few already. 2-1 pitch, low and at the knees. Slider, 87 miles an hour by George Kirby. 3 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. Kirby on the mound, Larnach in the box. Let's go, George. 3-1 pitch. That one's fouled off right down the middle. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. Count now full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Larnach. Come on, baby. Three-two pitch, and that is a rare walk by George Kirby. How's Ellie De La Cruz doing after we played you guys at the beginning of the year and he had all those errors and, and it was kind of an uncharacteristic play from Ellie? How has Ellie been doing for you since you watch them pretty much every day? I mean, I see certain things come up on my social media, like when he hits a home run or, ends up stealing a bag. I saw one thing where he had like a blunder where he didn't know how many outs there were and he could have went from first to third, but he stopped at second, but other than that, I think, it seems like he's kind of turning the corner for the better. First pitch from Kirby to Castro, takes a strike swinging, 0-1 count. But again, great players sometimes fuck up, like even Pete Crow Armstrong. He didn't know how many outs there were in the game. He thought it was out number 3, and he caught the ball in the outfield, and there was only 2 outs. And then the runners ended up advancing. And, again, sometimes, you got to be able to be on your game, but even professionals sometimes forget how many innings there are, and how many outs there are in the innings. 0-1 pitch. That one's fouled off high and inside. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 2 outs. And it would be great to get a slow dribbler right up the middle to J.P. Crawford. And we can throw it to Donovan Solano and get out of this inning unscathed. Let's go. It happens, man, right? It happens to Ellie. It happens to PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong. And I imagine it'll happen to Julio at one point or another. Just sometimes that happens. So many things on the brain in a game. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees with the knuckle curve. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 1 out. We're knotted up at 0. And this is really not the typical Mariner performance. But again, we're going against a very good pitcher, maybe the best pitcher we've gone against in the last week and a half. So sometimes that type of stuff happens. 1-2 pitch, and Castro strikes out looking. Beautiful pitch, beautiful location. George Kirby looking like a poor man's Greg Maddux, and I love it. 2 away. We don't get the double play, but we get the out. Next up, shortstop Carlos Correa. First pitch, low and at the knees with that slider, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, fouled off right down the middle from Carlos Correa. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at first and 2 outs. 14 runs, 6 homers, 12 ribbies, 1 stolen bag, 310. And oh, baby, that's money, dude. That's fantastic. And I've always liked Ellie. Again, he's not necessarily the prototypical infielder, if they have him play, like at short. But, a guy that normally looks like he would be a center fielder, throughout, the good chunk of the season. But obviously a guy that can play multiple positions and whatnot. And nice to see that Ellie is back. I really like James Wood on the Nats, Jacob Wilson from the Athletics, who should win Rookie of the Year. And obviously Pete Crow Armstrong is kind of that newbie that's kind of having some shine. Ellie broke out last year, and has been good pretty much since he's gotten the call up. And it's nice to be able to see the young wave of new players, rookies, or, within the first 3 years really start to break out. And it's a great thing to see for this league. And Correa on a 1-1 pitch, singles to left, Larnach to second. Now we have runners at first and second with 2 outs. Correa is a good hitter, though. I mean, he was doing that against us when he was on the Stros. You have to think, if there's anybody on the roster that's going to get a hit for the Twins, it's going to be Buxton, Correa, and France. So shit happens. Now we just have to get out of this inning, and hopefully they don't score. Next up is Matt Wallner, and I believe we will get him out. And we'll leave 2 stranded for the Twins. First pitch, takes the strike swinging. High and inside with the 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour by George Kirby, 0-1 count. Here we go. And just like I predicted, see you later. Grounds out to first. And that is the end of the 4th inning. And that's okay. If you give up a couple hits, you just don't want to get to a point like with Luis Castillo yesterday, like I mentioned. If you have a pitcher, and I don't care if it's Skubal, Skeens, Sale, I don't care if it's any of those guys. If you have a particular matchup where the pitcher hasn't looked good within the first 4 innings, has given up some runs or hits, walk some guys, plunk some guys. If you end up having runners at first and second with no outs, right, you pull them. I don't care if it's the 4th inning or the 5th inning. Yeah, you want guys to go 6, but especially with a guy like Luis Castillo, who's given up like 8 homers in the last 5 games. I knew when we were up 5-0, and then they had that solo jack where we were only up 5-1 at that point, that if you didn't put Luis Castillo and you pull him out of the game, that they were going to score 1, 2, 3, 4 runs or take the lead, and they did. And again, hopefully managers will have, people that have those analytics and stats to recognize you just can't throw a guy in there, as a starter and just let him go 6 innings, regardless if he does good or bad. You have to know when to pull a guy. And so far, Dan Wilson doesn't really recognize the signs just yet. But that really is the number 1 tool to use. Runners at first and second, runners at second and third, no outs. The game is on the line. You fucking pull them. It doesn't matter who they are. If they've looked shaky, you pull them. But if they've been good for the first, 3 or 4 innings, then you can roll the dice. But most of the time when you don't pull, they end up coming back. And if you know when to pull a guy at that particular, situation, you can help yourself, look a little bit better in the media's eyes as well as the fans. All right, let's go to the top of the 5th inning, and we're knotted up at 0. Nice job by George Kirby. Let's go over some of the stats here really quick. All right, so George Kirby here within the first 4 innings. 4 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, 1 walk. He obviously was going through a no-hitter there in that inning, but gave up a hit and a walk. 3 Ks. I was hoping 4 to 6, so he's still on pace. 56 pitches, 35 strikes, 5.45 ERA. Couple more good starts, George will be in the 3s. And let's take a look at Joe Ryan, one of the better pitchers, obviously, for the Minnesota Twins. 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 5 Ks, 63 pitches, 42 strikes, ERA 2.92. Let's go, baby. Next up is Cole Young. First pitch to Cole Young, low and away by Joe Ryan, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking in the zone, 1 ball and 1 strike to Cole Young. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss right down the middle by Cole Young. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Joe Ryan to Cole. Sweet photo here. Usually you don't see this kind of camera angle. And as soon as I saw this one, I was like, man, I got to use that. One-two pitch, high and inside with the 4-seam fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Cole Young. Come on, Cole. 2-2 pitch, and big swing and a miss. Down goes Cole Young. 1 away. And again, based on how the game is gone, we're going to have to wait for Joe Ryan to leave. That's just how it goes. And again, this isn't going to happen to us that often, not like it did on a regular basis, when we were going against a good pitcher or even a shitty pitcher with an ERA of 11. We were striking out left and right, in 2022, 2023, 2024, one of the worst team batting averages, one of the worst strikeout teams in, Major League Baseball. Those things are not the same anymore for the Mariners in 2025. We can hit, we can play in the morning, we can play in the afternoon. We're clutch. We have one of the top 3 players in the league right now in Cal Raleigh. So again, sometimes, when the pitcher is really good on that other side, you're only going to get one or you're going to get none. And then you just got to wait. If you don't get that solo jack, then you're just going to have to wait till he exits. And then we have to try to, have a sprint in those last 3 innings in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And even if we win 3-2, or 2-1, I know every Mariner fan will take that. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike looking in the zone, behind in the count, 0-2 to Miles Mastrobuoni. And another thing is we're very good with 2 outs, and again, we weren't able to do that in 2022, 2023, or 2024. So even though our record might not be the greatest, we're doing things in 2025 that we were never able to do. Hell, our bullpen has been number 1 in MLB since June 11th. And at one point when we were on our losing streak, after the 9 consecutive series win streak ended, it felt like we had the worst bullpen, with Colin Snyder and Legomina, and Thornton, it was just terrible. Carlos Vargas fucking shit up. But now everyone is looking good except for Gabe Spire, believe it or not. And, I'll take that. 2-2 pitch. That one's fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Joe Ryan to Miles Mastrobuoni. Two-two pitch, and Mastrobuoni fouls that one off again, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Ryan to Mastrobuoni. 7-3 record, ERA of 3.06. Now his ERA is in the high 2s. At some point you knew that a game like this was going to happen. The Mariners offense in the month of June, 2nd in batting average, 2nd in on-base percentage, 4th in slugging, and 8 in runs per game. We got it all the way up to 4.9. That's a hell of a lot better than 1 to 3 runs for a month and a half when we sucked ass. But when we were winning games, 9 consecutive series wins, we were averaging about 6. So we're just a little bit behind the 8 ball. But again, the winning streak on the road just happened. So again, we can get to that point. If we're at 4.9, we can get to a 6-run average, maybe not this game. And Mastrobuoni flies out to right on a 3-2 pitch. 2 away. Next up, shortstop JP Crawford. And in games, especially like this, you need the leadoff hitter to get on base immediately, to set the tone. And unfortunately, we haven't seen JP be as dominant, as the leadoff hitter lately. But I do feel that it will happen at some point. He has been starting off 0 for 2 a little bit more frequently than I would like. But again, at some point, he'll get back in the groove, especially if shitty pitching is on the other side. Let's go, JP. Top of the 5th inning. Nobody on with 2 outs. 1-0 pitch. Low and at the knees with the splitter. 1-0 count. Broccoli Kid. You don't really see Broccoli Kid anymore, though. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and no strikes from Ryan to Crawford. 2-0 pitch. That one's fouled off right down the middle by JP. 2 balls and 1 strike from Ryan to Crawford. Come on, JP. 2-1 pitch. Fouled off right down the middle. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Yeah, I hope JP gets a hit here, but to me, I feel that, he probably won't. And if he does get a hit, it'll be on his 3rd or 4th at bat. Joe Ryan is money, and again, he may not be Screwball or Skeens when he gets run support, but again, my ESP is usually on. And there you go. JP Crawford is out. And again, I'm not going to be correct on every prediction. And of course, we're going to always hope and wish, but sometimes you have to give credit where credit's due. And when you're sitting on the other side, staring down this 7-3 with a 3.06, I just didn't feel we're going to have to wait, for him to exit, and then we'll start raking up and racking up some hits. Down goes JP, and that is the end of the Mariners in the 5th. But I do like the positive thinking, Next up here in the bottom of the fifth, 0 for 1, first baseman Ty France. Batting second, 0 for 1 with a K, second baseman Cody Clemens. And batting third, 0 for 1 with a K, left fielder Harrison Bader. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 50 likes before the stream ends. And we're at 20 on the dono train, 80 to go. See if I can squeeze in a couple more Aaron Judges for Megan while we're in a commercial break here. Unfortunately, Houston keeps on winning, and we need them to start losing. .5 games back. And again, if we didn't suck for a month and a half, we would have been in a much better position. When we were 8 games above 500 at our peak, but again, you're not going to sustain 6-run average, for the whole year. At some point you're going to hit a wall. So and I don't mind if Ty France ends up having a good game as long as the Mariners win. But again, we'll see how this particular inning goes, and we'll look at pitch counts, and we'll see how long each guy ends up going. First pitch in play to France, and pops out to second. That was a quick at-bat there for Ty. I'll take that one away. Nice job, Kirby. Next up is second baseman Cody Clemens, 0 for 1 with a K. See if he can make up for that error that he had in the beginning of the game. First pitch from Kirby to Clemens, low and at the knees with the slider. 1 ball and no strikes from Kirby to Clemens. And right now, Kirby's has a 1-hitter, and Joe Ryan has a 2-hitter. So I'm not really sure if we expected Kirby to match Joe Ryan's performance here today, but again, this is the good Kirby, like the one that had that no-hitter and had the 14 Ks. Not as dominant as that particular day, but definitely pitching well for us. Much better than Hancock and Castillo lately. Hell, even Wu and Gilbert have been a little bit shaky. Starting pitching hasn't been good, but the bullpen has been number 1 in MLB since June 11th. And again, we can hit with the best of them. Mariners bullpen has a .92 ERA, 4 earned runs, 39 innings pitched over the last 12 games since June 11th. That's number 1 in MLB. Seattle relievers have 31 strikeouts, 8 walks, holding opponents to a .149 batting average during that span. And again, I'll take an elite bullpen over elite starting pitching any day. Because again, how many times have we had elite pitching, right? But then we can't hit, and then the bullpen sucks, and they end up, getting 10 Ks, and we're, up 3-0, and then we end up losing 7-3 because the bullpen stinks. So again, starting pitching is important, but I would rather have an elite bullpen and elite hitting right now, and then hopefully the starting pitching will get better. And instead of each guy giving up 4 runs or more, hopefully we get a couple of those guys to get it to 2 or 3. And Clemens on the 2-2 pitch or 3-2 pitch in play and flies out to right, 2 away. There we go. Down goes Cody Clemens. Roger not happy. Next up, left fielder Harrison Bader. Let's go, George. Keep wheeling and dealing, baby. 0 for 1 with a K for Bader. Bottom of the fifth, 0-0. Mariners and Twins. Kirby on the mound. Harrison Bader in the 8-hole. Left fielder in the box. We will. We may not win the division. The Astros may win the division, but we will get in with a wild card. First pitch takes a strike, looking low and away. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. high and inside with that sinker. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Bader. Let's go, George. Keep wheeling and dealing. And again, I would definitely trust the Mariner bats in the 7th, 8th, and 9th over the Twins, based on how they've been playing lately. But you got to give both pitchers credit. George Kirby and Joe Ryan are magnificent today. And again, we were due for a game like this at some point. You knew that you're not going to be scoring 6, 8, 10, 15 every game. And again, we still have a chance to get 3 to 5 runs before this game is over, especially if they have a meltdown in their bullpen. 2-1 pitch in play and grounded out to the shortstop, J.P. Crawford, and that's the end of the 5th inning. Oh, Munoz and Brash. Look at that. Most consecutive scoreless to start the season in team history. 16 games for Munoz, 16 games for Brash. Spire with 15 in 2023. All right, let's go to the top of the 6th inning. See who's up next for the Mariners. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 1 with a K, center fielder, Julio Rodriguez. Trident's up. Batting second, 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. Catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And batting third, 0 for 2, DHing Jorge Polanco. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Let's look at pitch counts real quick, too. All right, George Kirby. Let's look at his stat line. Kirby, 5 innings pitched, 1 hit. No earned runs, 1 walk, 3 Ks. I was hoping for 4 to 6 Ks. 67 pitches, 41 strikes. So essentially, Kirby could go another 2 innings. And Joe Ryan, let's take a look at him. 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 7 Ks, and he's at 80 pitches. So with Joe Ryan, he'll probably only go 1 more inning and then it'll be over. So we'll see where it all goes. But the longer that we can keep George in, and he does well, that'll give us a better chance to win if George pitches the 6th and the 7th or just the 6th. But based off pitch count, Ryan's got 1 more inning, more than likely. If they want to do 2, they'll be stretching it. But again, one guy's got a 2-hitter, Joe Ryan, and George Kirby's got a 1-hitter at this point. Let's go, baby. Where are we at on the likes right now? How close are we to 50? Where are we? We're about halfway through the game, a little bit more than half. Okay, looks like we're at 34, now 36. All right, here we go. 4 more likes to be able to get to 40. 14 more to hit the goal. We're at 36 right now. 14 more. Let's go. First pitch from Joe Ryan to Julio Rodriguez. Takes a strike, swinging right down the middle, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. High and away. Should have been called strike, but called ball on the line. 4-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour by Joe Ryan. 1 ball and 1 strike from Ryan to Rodriguez. 1-1 pitch, fouled off. High and inside, tries to jam Julio and does. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Ryan to Rodriguez. Come on, Julio. Let's get it, baby. Singles, doubles, triples. Trident's up. Let's go. We'll take walks even. 1-2 pitch. Low and in the zone. That one should have been a strike. Julio should have already been punched out. All 4 pitches were in the strike zone, but for whatever reason, this ump called it 2-2. But Julio should have already been punched out based on the location of those 4 pitches. 1 was on the line, but that last pitch should have been strike 3. But I'll take a 2-2 count as long as they're going to do the same thing on the other side. I don't want to see any favoritism. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Top of the 6th inning. Kirby and Ryan with a 1-hitter and a 2-hitter. 2-2 pitch. And Rodriguez gets an infield single to the shortstop. Look what happens when you hustle, Julio. When you end up hustling like this guy right here, Luke Raley, who's got 2 hits off 2 errors. Here you go. Rub it off. There we go. Nice job, Julio Rodriguez. And here we go. Is this the inning where we get the 2-run blast to go up 2-0? And maybe knock out Joe Ryan of the game? Here we go. Big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. You can do it from the left side. You can do it from the right side. You can do it from any side. Trident's up. Let's go. Let's bring that electricity, Cal. First pitch, right down the middle. Ooh, that was the home run ball right there. Right down the middle with the slider, 87 miles an hour, just a little bit behind on the swing. 0-1 count. That one would have went fucking 350 or 400 if he would have been able to connect. Top of the sixth, runner at first, no outs, 0-0 game, pitcher's duel, one hitter and a two hitter from Kirby and Ryan. And again, once starting pitching goes out, we should get this game to open up. 0-1 pitch, high and inside, tries to jam the hitter, Cal Raleigh, doesn't work. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at first, Julio Rodriguez, here in the top of the sixth. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss on that four-seam fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Ryan to Raleigh. But if Cal doesn't get him here, in his next at bat against whoever it may be, one of the guys in the pen, if they have a meltdown, you best believe we can go yard at that particular time. But it would be great if he does it right here. I mean, we've already been watching 6 innings of 0-0. I'm ready for some fucking hits. I'm ready for some RBIs. I'm ready for some fucking runs. Let's go. One-two pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Ryan to Raleigh. Come on, baby. Let's go, big dumper. Let's get it. 2-2 pitch. That one's fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Ryan to Raleigh. Come on, Cal. You can do it just like in your Florida State days. 2-2 pitch and strikes out swinging. Wow. Joe Ryan wheeling and dealing, even making our best players look silly here today. I knew this was going to be a tough game. 1 away. Nice job by Joe Ryan. Getting out our best player, Cal Raleigh. I see you. Next up, DHing 0 for 2, Jorge Polanco. Come on, Polo. We need somebody to step up here. But luckily, we at least with the pitch count, we know that Joe Ryan's is a little bit higher than Kirby. So we're probably not going to see Joe, pitch in the 7th inning. At least I hope not, but it could be possible. Two more likes to be able to get to 40, 12 more to get to 50. Let's fucking go. Top of the 6th, 0-0, runner at first with 1 out. Ryan on the mound, Polo in the box. First pitch, low and away with that splitter by Joe Ryan. 1 ball and no strikes from Ryan to Polo. Let's go, Jorge. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 50 likes before the stream ends. And we're at 20 on the dono train, 80 to go. 1-0 pitch, and Polo hits into the double play. Man, it's sometimes when you go against someone who's elite, this is what happens, and again, it happened way more often in 2022, 2023, and 2024. We've only had this happen to the Mariners a handful of times. And again, we can still get 3 to 5 runs, hopefully when the bullpen for the Twins has some epic meltdowns, and we can still get 3 to 5 and win this game. Not JT in the building. We finally got a little bit of rain, so a little overcast, but the heat wave is coming, in the next couple days. So again, we're getting a couple days of weather. Now we're at 43, 7 more likes to be able to hit the goal. Appreciate you guys. What's good, brother? How are you? But again, right now, weather-wise, it's 70 and cloudy, 71 and rain tomorrow, and then 72 on Friday. And then Saturday, 79, and then the heat wave, 86, 91, 87, 87, 86, 85. I mean, it's not a serious heat wave where it's like 90 to 105, but for here in the Pacific Northwest, again, once we get into the mid 80s or the 90s, it gets a little uncomfortable. I used to like 70, with a breeze, but now I like it even colder. I like it where it's like maybe 55 to 65, but again, I run hot. I'm always wearing shorts and, I like it with a little bit cooler. Sun can be out, but I need to have that breeze. Let's go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and let's see who's up next here for the Minnesota Twins. Next up for the Twins, 0 for 1, catcher Christian Vasquez. Batting second, 0 for 2, center fielder Byron Buxton. And batting third, right fielder Trevor Larnach. And on the mound still for the Mariners, wheeling and dealing, George Kirby. George Kirby with a 1-hitter, Joe Ryan with a 3-hitter. No runs, 3 hits for Seattle. No runs, 1 hit, 2 errors for Minnesota. And Vasquez on the first pitch grounds out to the shortstop. JP throw to first. Got him. 1 away. Down goes Vasquez. Next up is Byron Buxton. Let's go. Much better than Kirby's last start. And, not as dominant with the K's where he had the 14. But this is probably his second best outing after that 14K, tying his career high, a few days back. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, low and away, behind in the count 0-2 from Kirby to Buxton. But it's nice to be able to get a little bit of colder weather, less AC that needs to be used and less that I have to worry about my pup, overheating or, maybe getting sick and whatnot. So 0-2 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Kirby to Buxton. 3 Ks for Kirby, 8 for Ryan. But Ryan's at 93 pitches. Kirby's only at 67. I mean, shit, Kirby could go 8 innings. I mean, as long as he's pitching like this, I wouldn't care. Gives us a better chance to win. And we already saw Brash and Munoz yesterday. So, if we do get a pitcher to come in after Kirby, hopefully it's Bizardo because he's our second best. And Buxton on a 1-2 pitch ends up getting a hit on Kirby. And now Kirby has given up 2 hits, but no runs. So we're okay. Nice hit there by Buxton, who's playing like an all-star this year. And now we need a double play. Slow dribbler right up the middle to JP Crawford, throw to Solano, and we get out of the inning. Next up, right fielder Trevor Larnach. Let's go, Kirby. And if we don't get it here, we can maybe get a strikeout, pop-up ground out, and then we can definitely get Willie Castro out, the next batter. First pitch, takes a strike looking in the zone, 0-1 count. Kirby on the mound, Larnach in the box. Let's go, George. Keep wheeling and dealing. 2-hitter for George Kirby, 3-hitter for Joe Ryan. Bottom of the 6th inning, runner at first with 1 out. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss by Trevor Larnach. Low and at the knees with the knuckle curve. And if I'm George Kirby, I throw the knuckle curve again and I punch him out. But we'll see what he does here. If not, maybe the knuckle curve will lead to that double play right up the middle, but we'll find out. Larnach in the box. Kirby on the mound. Bottom of the 6th with a runner at first and 1 out. I mean, I'll take 2 punch outs as well if I don't get the double play here, but we just need to get out of this inning. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first. Kirby on the mound, Larnach in the box. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees. He did throw the knuckle curve to try to get Larnach to bite, but he didn't. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Kirby to Larnach. And when you watch games as often as we do here, I can start to pick up kind of tendencies of these pitchers a little bit more than the average person, considering I'm doing every game from beginning to end. But you have to just pay attention. 1-2 pitch, low and away with that slider, almost in the same spot as that knuckle curve, and Larnach does not bite. 2-2 pitch, and that one is fouled off right down the middle. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Larnach. go, baby. Finish strong, George. $43 likes, 7 more to go. Let's go, baby. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. You haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to that 50 number. And we've been very consistent with that number for months now. 2-2 pitch. That one's fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Larnach. 2-2 pitch. And that one's fouled off again. 3 consecutive foul balls here for Trevor Larnach. Sinker, knuckle curve, and slider. George getting into his bag. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 1 out. We need a punch out or a double play. Come on, George. There we go. We got a couple more likes. Now we at 45. 5 more to go. Shout out to all the new subs that we've acquired and all the people watching all over the world. Appreciate you guys very, very much. Bottom of the 6th. Runner at first with 1 out. Kirby on the mound. Trevor Larnach in the box. Come on, George. Get that double play. Get that punch out. Either one will be fine. I mean, we'll take a, grounder and a pop-up as well. Just don't plunk him and don't walk him. Jerry says knuckle sandwich. We'll see what we get here with the knuckle curve. 2-2 pitch. And grounded out to first. Buxton to second. No opportunity for the double play, but we'll take that. 2 away. Nice job by George there. All right, next up, 0 for 2 with a K. Third baseman Willie Castro. We'll take a little slow dribbler or a pop-up or a strikeout here. Let's get out of this inning. You got a runner at second with 2 outs. This is probably the first time they've actually, I don't want to say that are threatening because the game has been so low scoring and we haven't really had too many opportunities to threaten for either team, but hopefully with a runner in scoring position, we can end it right here. Bottom of the 6th, runner at second with 2 outs. Willie Castro in the box. George Kirby still wheeling and dealing. There we go. Now we're at 49 all day. 1 more to go. 1 more to hit the goal. And we're at 20 on the dono train. 80 to go. First pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. Now, I plan on trying to take Paisley to the groomers on Friday. So anything that we end up getting will be greatly appreciated. I'm going to get a little body wash, nail trim, take care of my baby. Kirby wheeling and dealing, baby. Yeah, Kirby definitely could get 2 more strikeouts because his pitch count is so low. He's only at 80. But again, it really just depends on, Dan Wilson. He sometimes will pull guys too soon and sometimes leaves guys in too long. Like Castillo yesterday when we were up 5-1 with runners at first and second and no outs. I said, if we don't pull them here, they're going to come back. And that's exactly what happened. So, but at this particular outing, Kirby's been magnificent, just like Joe Ryan. So, you might not get the punch out on Castro, but you could maybe get it in the 7th inning, possibly. But I was kind of shooting for 4 to 6 Ks today for George. That was going to kind of be my prediction, and if he was good, obviously. And, he hasn't really been very good in that many starts. I mean, 1-3 record. He had the 14K game, but other than that, a majority of the other starts have not been good for George. 0-2 pitch, high and inside with that 4-seam fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at second and 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 6th, and it's definitely been a pitcher's duel. Nice. We might have just got that last 50. There we go. Appreciate you guys. Let's try to get to 60 before the stream ends. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at second and 2 outs. Kirby on the mound. Castro in the box. 1-2 pitch. That's fouled off. Low and away. Changeup. 88 miles an hour by George Kirby. 1-2 pitch. And that one is high and inside, fouled off. Nice souvenir for that fan. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at second and 2 outs. Let's get him out, baby. Let's go. Doesn't really feel like it's going to be a strikeout for George Kirby, and kind of feels like it's going to be a pop-up or a ground out, but we'll see. Not that I doubt George's abilities, but we'll see. And you can tell George is getting a little tired right now, too. Bottom of the 6th, runner at second. 2 outs. 1-2 pitch. That one is high and away. Tries to paint the corner with that 4-seam fastball and just misses. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Castro. But hell, if we can get the punch out here, that would be awesome. Get another stat, to add to George Kirby's day here today. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second and 2 outs. We're knotted up at 0. Kirby's been fantastic. Joe Ryan's been fantastic. Get the job done here, George. Finish him. Fatality. Babality. Animality. Finish him. 2-2 pitch. Low and at the knees. 3 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second and 2 outs. You can tell George is getting tired now. And again, he's one of those guys that does not walk, anybody. It's very rare for him to even get 1 walk in the game, and hopefully that doesn't turn into a walk here. We need a pop-up, a ground out, or a punch out. Let's go. Throw to second with no tag to JP there. Trying to keep the runners honest. Bottom of the 6th. Runner at second. 3-2 pitch. And he gets a base hit. Willie Castro singles to right. I didn't think the strikeout was going to happen. Buxton scores, and that is a 1-0 lead for the Twins. And again, you got to pull him now. He's tired. And again, I know it's only 1 more out, but you have to recognize when to pull a guy. Because if you don't pull him here, it could end up turning into 2. Especially with Carlos Correa up right now next. If anyone would hit a homer for them, it would be him. Got to be very careful here. But if I'm managing the team right now, I pull Kirby. And again, I bring in Bizardo, and then we get out of this inning unscathed besides the 1 run. But if you keep Kirby in, he could get Correa out, but he could also give up a homer or another RBI, and then we could be down 2 or 3. So we'll see if George can fight through this. First pitch, takes a strike looking. 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch. Correa. And grounds out to second. Get him. And there we go. At least we got out of the inning, not fully unscathed. But again, we could have brought in Bizardo and had the same result. Unfortunate that we gave up the run right there, but both guys did great. Each guy had a 3-hitter. Unfortunately, the 2 errors from Minnesota haven't really, hurt them to the, significance that we would like. But Joe Ryan and Kirby did fantastic up to this point. But George getting a little fatigued, with those long pitch counts, definitely hurt his chances of staying at 0-0. But I still think that we can win this game. We just need to wait for these starting pitchers to go out, and then we can start doing what the Mariners typically do, fucking rake. All right, here we go. Let's see if we can tie the game up here in the top of the 7th. Next up, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Batting second, right fielder Luke Raley. We need a nuke, baby. And batting third, must-see TV, first baseman Donovan Solano. Let's go, Donovan. Are you going to be the unsung hero? Let's get it, baby. All right, Mariner Moose, we need you. Cal, I need you, man. You might have been little dumper in this particular photo. Now you're big dumper, but we're going to need that bat at some point in these last 3 innings if we're going to be able to tie or win. He's got to be the guy. And also, this could be an individual that, steps up as well. We need a nice combo at the top of the order. JP, Julio, big dumper. Let's go. But we got Randy, Raley, and Solano. So close of keeping that 0-0. But hopefully we'll bring in Bizzardo. That would be the guy that if I was managing the team, that's who I would be bringing in. But they're going to be bringing in Varland, and Varland's got a 2.08 ERA. But I think that we can still do something here, hopefully. I can't even believe this game started on time. I mean, it was a fucking downpour, as you're seeing in the broadcast. First pitch to Randy Arozarena, high and away, 1-0 count. But 3,000 regular viewers to the channel. Again, we're getting views from 70% in the United States. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking in the zone, 1 ball and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. But 70% in the U.S., 5% in Venezuela, 3.7 in Mexico, 2.1 in Dominican Republic, then Philippines, Canada, Japan, Colombia, India, Panama, New Zealand, Australia, and many others. Shout out to all of those individuals that are watching all over the globe. It really does mean everything. 2-1 pitch. That one's fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Varland to Randy. Come on, Randy. We need you, baby. 2-2 pitch. Low and away by Varland. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. And again, I'll take a walk right here. Don't strike out looking or swinging. We need a walk or a single or a double. Come on, Randy. Double would be the best thing that we could ask for besides a home run. 3-2 pitch. That one's fouled off. Tries to jam the hitter at the hips and does. And there we go. 3-2 pitch. And we get the walk. That's what I want. Singles are great. Randy's been known to get doubles. He doesn't really homer that often anymore. But nice job by taking the walk, Randy. Julio, take notes. All right, here we go. Is it going to be time for Nuke Rayleigh? Is he going to be the hero today? Let's go, Luke. He's got 2 base hits off errors just by hustle going to first base. Both throws, should have been there. And again, you had some fielding errors, and both errors were for Luke Rayleigh. So again, it shows you if you run hard to first, even though it looks like you're 99% out, you never know if they're going to have a blunder fielding the ball or throwing the ball to first, and it's just off. And, again, I just wish that every player had the hustle like Luke Rayleigh. First pitch, knuckle curve by Varland, fouled off, 0-1 count. Come on, Luke. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 4-seam fastball misses by Varland. 1 ball and 1 strike from Varland to Rayleigh. Let's go, Rayleigh. Let's go, Luke. 2-run jack, give us a 2-1 lead. Come on, baby. 1-1 pitch. Low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to Luke Rayleigh. Come on, Luke. And we're very good in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. I won't be shocked if we score 1 to 3 runs in any of these last 3 innings. Especially with Joe Ryan finally exiting the game. Two 1 pitch. Takes a strike swinging low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Luke Rayleigh. Come on, Luke. We need you, guy. Find a way, baby. Single, double, home run. Let's go. Come on, baby. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and no outs. We're down a run. It's been a pitcher's duel for Joe Ryan and George Kirby. 3-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss for Luke Rayleigh. That's unfortunate. 1 away. Next up, first baseman Donovan Solano. Let's go, Donovan. Must see TV lately. Let's go. Are you going to be the hero? It'd be really sweet if we got a 2-run jack right now. Bring that electricity, Donovan. And they're going to have Dominic Canzone come in. All right, come on, Dom. Dominic Canzone can do it as well. Top of the 7th, runner at first with 1 out. Batting average 279, 4 homers, 7 ribbies. Let's go, baby. I have faith in you. In play. On the first pitch, fielder's choice, runner out at second. That's Randy. Canzone to first, 2 away. Wish he would have worked the count a little bit more there. Should have probably had Donovan Solano hit. But again, apparently a righty can't hit a righty. And a lefty can't hit a lefty. Come on, Dan Wilson, be better. All right, here we go. Next up is Cole Young. First pitch, takes a strike looking, paints the corner beautifully, 0-1 count. Come on, Cole. 0-1 pitch, fouls it off right down the middle. 97 miles an hour by Varland on that 4-seam fastball. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 2 outs. We're down 1-0. We need a little bit of electricity here. Let's go. I haven't looked at the updated stats as of today, but he definitely was near the top with the walks and the hit by pitch, but I don't know the exact numbers. You may look that up on Google or X through Grok or AI, and it may be able to give you an answer there. 0-2 pitch, and Young grounds out to the shortstop, and that is the end of the Mariners, so we're going to have to try to do it in the 8th or the 9th, but we're only down 1, so it's not like we're down 3 or 4. We still have a chance here. And obviously Minnesota is hoping that they can win today and tomorrow so they can split the series. We want to win 3 out of 4. But if we win this game and come back, right, we can sweep. So even though Emerson Hancock did not look good in his last outing. Next up, 0 for 2, DHing Matt Wallner. Batting second, 0 for 2, first baseman Ty France. And batting third, 0 for 2 with a K, Cody Clemens. And I think that we fucked up there, by not having Donovan Solano hit. Just because the pitcher is a righty, you're telling me that a righty pitcher is throwing to a righty hitter and that can't work? Or if you have a lefty pitcher going to a lefty hitter, that it can't work? And again, it's like I believe in guys like Dominic Canzone and a few of these other guys, but I think in that situation, I would have rather had Randy, Rayleigh, and then give me a righty bat. And I think Donovan, I'm not saying that he would have gotten a home run or a single or a double, but something in my gut kind of tells me that he would have gotten something. I don't know to what degree it would have been, and I don't know if it would have brought anybody home, Randy, but I think it would have been a better choice. And again, those dumb mistakes when you listen to everyone else and you do what everyone else does. Oh, it's a righty pitcher. We have to go with an all lefty lineup. Oh, it's a lefty pitcher. We have to go with all righties. Otherwise, we can't do it. It's like the dumbest thing in baseball on top of us not bunting every day. And again, maybe we'll get someone to bunt in the 8th or the 9th. And my prediction of Bizzardo coming in is coming true. And Bizzardo is on the mound, and he has been good for us. He's our second best to Matt Brash right now. He overtook, obviously, Gabe Spire, and hopefully we can find a way to have him mow down the side. I mean, we'll throw up Brash photos, Bizzardo photos, and Munoz, but if it ain't one of those guys, maybe Gabe, but Gabe's been a liability lately. First pitch from Bizzardo to Wallner, low and at the knees. Should have been called strike, but called ball. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Bizzardo to Matt Wallner. I don't want to lose this game 1-0. And again, we have to make sure that the bats come alive in the 8th and the 9th. And if not, there is a chance that we could lose 1-0, and that would be painful. I want us to, hopefully we can get to at least 2 before the game ends. Even if that means that it's 1-1 in the 8th or the 9th, and we have to win it 2-1 in the 10th or the 11th. I don't care how we win. I just want a win. 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Bizzardo to Wallner. Yeah, France was number 1, and Randy is obviously number 1 on the Mariners now. One-two pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Bizzardo to Wallner. 2-2 pitch. That one's fouled off right down the middle. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Bizzardo to Matt Wallner. Let's go, baby. And I've dropped this stat a few times already if you're just coming in like Chris, but I want to let you guys know. Mariners bullpen has a .92, under 1 ERA, 4 earned runs, 39 innings pitched over its last 12 games. That's number 1 in MLB since June 11th. Our bullpen. When we were on our losing streak, we were bottom 3 in the league. Now the relievers have had 31 strikeouts, 8 walks, and holding opponents to a 149 batting average. So hopefully that'll continue here. 3-2 pitch, and that one is fouled off, low and away. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on, and no outs. 1-0 Twins lead. And it was a good pitcher's duel. 3-hitter for Kirby, 3-hitter for Joe Ryan. But unfortunately, the 2 errors that the Twins had did not lead to any runs for the Mariners, and just Kirby got tired. He was working a lot of 5, 6, 7 pitch counts per batter late, and then we ended up getting giving up an RBI there. And again, it could have been worse. No home runs today, but again, I still feel that home run could happen for the Mariners. 3-2 pitch. That one's fouled off again, right down the middle. 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. 1-0 Minnesota lead. 13-20 for the first 33 games. Next 13-0. And the last 33, 11-22. 3-2 pitch. And Wallner strikes out looking. My guy, Bizzardo, baby. Remember, he was one of the worst bullpen guys last year with Taylor Saucedo. He has improved so dramatically, where he is now the second best guy to Matt Brash. Who would have thought? Now, who would have thought that Gabe Spire would be unreliable now? Spire actually might be our worst guy in the pen as far as trust. He hasn't really been very good lately. He's always going to be a name, and he's a lefty, and we root for him. But again, he gives up wild pitches for runs, big home runs, big ribbies. I mean, he's not as bad as Trent Thornton was at the beginning of the year, giving up like 5 homers in the first 15 games. But I don't really trust Gabe on the mound anymore. But hopefully I will as the season continues. First pitch fouled off by Ty France. 0-1 count. Don't get any ideas, Ty. I love you, just like I love Gino, Eugenio Suarez, but I can't have you do anything here. 0-1 pitch. Tries to jam the hitter there. Bizzardo fouls that one off again. Behind in the count now, 0-2 to Ty France. Let's go, Bizzardo. 0-2 pitch. And look at that. Bizzardo is fucking money. Let's go, baby. I love seeing guys go from being terrible to being great. Bizzardo, Donovan Solano, it just makes me smile. We're still waiting on Mitch Garver and a few others. Nice job. Nice job, Bizzardo. 2 away. Hell, you could have Bizzardo pitch the next inning also. Next up, Cody Clemens, 0 for 2 with a K. Fucking strike his ass out too. First pitch in play. Uh-oh. Back. See ya. Wow. Crazy. Cody Clemens, solo dinger. And again, Bizzardo's been great, for a long time. That's the first big thing that he's given up in a long time. And bad timing for Mariner fans. 2-0 Twins. But we still have a chance. Try to get 1 run in the 8th, 1 in the 9th. And again, being at a 0 ain't going to cut it. Wow. Roger now happy. Cody had an error at the beginning of the game, and he just made up for it, which I had a feeling that he would at some point in the game. Wow. 2-0 Minnesota. But I still think Bizzardo's been great. He still is the second best guy. Just bad timing there to give up that homer. All right, no more. If we give up any more than 2, we're going to lose. And hell, we might still lose, 2-0. But, we want to make sure we keep it within 2. 1 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th, or 2 in the 8th, or 2 in the 9th. That's the way that we have to do it. First pitch from Bizzardo to Bader. Takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, in play, get his ass. Bader grounds out to third, throw to first. And there we go. We don't get out of it unscathed. That's the first home run of the game. And a lot of times when someone fucks up at the beginning of the game, they end up getting redemption. And Cody Clemens gets redemption as Roger Clemens, his dad, smiling from ear to ear. All right, Mariners, it's not over yet until the fat lady sings. Let's go to the top of the 8th inning. 2-0 Twins. And now we got Jax coming in. He can have an epic meltdown. Next up, 0 for 2 with a K, third baseman Miles Mastrobuoni. Batting second, shortstop J.P. Crawford. And batting third, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. If we're going to come back, it has to be here. we may not be able to do anything in the ninth. So again, we're at the bottom to the top of the order. We have to try to get a minimum of 1 this inning, because if we end up getting none, the chance of us losing 2-0 is probably like 80%. There is a chance that we could get that monster 9th inning, but a lot of times you got to get them in the 8th, or at least 1 to give you that life. Let them know all day. We're at 20, 80 to go. And let's see if we can get to 60 likes before the stream ends. All right, Miles. We need you, baby. And I still love you, Bizzardo. That was just, and again, it was only a solo dinger. It wasn't like a 2-run jack, 3-run jack, or grand salami. And honestly, that's the first time Bizzardo has fucked up in a long time. So, and again, how many times can you win games when you don't score more than 3 runs? You got to be able to score 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. And we're at 0. So something's got to give. But I still believe that we can come back and win this game. We might have to go to extras to win, but hopefully we can get 1 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th, or 2 in the 8th, or 2 in the 9th, and then we win 3-2 in extras. Unless we have that monster inning where they have this epic meltdown where we score 3 runs in the 8th or 3 in the 9th. I'll take that scenario also, which we have seen that happen for us too. Let's go, baby. First pitch in play. Grounded out to the pitcher. 1 away. Come on, Miles. We needed you to work the count. Golly. The last thing that we needed is someone to be overly aggressive in the 8th. Fuck. Make the pitcher earn it. It's Jax. Next up is JP Crawford. And Jax has got an ERA of 4. If he just would have been patient at that at-bat, that could have been the difference. And hopefully that, everyone understands where this guy is at. You don't even have to swing. This might end up being a couple walks if you're just fucking patient. First pitch, low and in the zone. On the line, but called ball, 1-0 count. And Jax's ERA is double than what you were getting, obviously, from the previous 2. So hopefully someone in the clubhouse and the dugout is letting them know this guy has got an ERA of 4, almost 5. Be patient. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike to JP Crawford. Come on now. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes to JP Crawford. And if you notice, when JP doesn't get a hit, we typically don't win. We need JP to get on base. And again, normally when he gets that first hit, things go well. 1-2 pitch, and JP strikes out swinging. 2 away, and it's definitely important for us to be able to, get that leadoff guy. Iron in the building. What's good? Rally coin, $2 holla. Appreciate that. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. Little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. And again, when JP doesn't get a hit, hard for us to win. Got to be able to get that production there. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. First pitch to Julio Rodriguez, takes a strike looking in the zone, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, high and away, 4-seam fastball by Jax. 1 ball and 1 strike from Jax to Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, Julio. Grind it out, baby. Let's go. Let's go, Julio. Trident's up. Top of the 8th inning, 2-0 Twins. Jax on the mound. Julio in the box. 1-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking on the line. And unfortunately, Julio is trying to be more patient, but every pitch that's coming to him today has almost been a strike when he's sitting there taking the pitches. And, you hope for balls so that way you get a good, 2-0 count or 3-0 count, but it just hasn't manufactured for Julio in that type of way today. Like, we want him to be patient, and then now he's patient, but it's not working. It's like a catch-22. Like, no matter what he does, overly aggressive doesn't work. He actually takes pitches, and that doesn't work. So at this point, late in the game, you just need to swing. And down goes Julio, and we're going to have to get 2 in the 9th And again, we may end up losing this game 2-0, but I hope not. Should have been more patient with Jax. His ERA was 4. Compared to Joe Ryan and Varland with ERAs of 2. Could have been the difference there. Miles Mastrobuoni, kind of killed the momentum there, being that leadoff hitter. All right, next up, 0 for 2 in the 9-hole, catcher Christian Vasquez. Back at the top of the order, center fielder Byron Buxton. And batting third, right fielder Trevor Larnach. And they're bringing in Trent Thornton. So I don't know if that means that we gave up and we're just going to let them win the game now. But now Trent has been better lately. The whole bullpen has been great. We're number 1 in MLB since June 11th. But anytime you end up having a guy like Trent Thornton in, especially in a situation where you're already down 2-0, and I know that you don't want to use some of the better guys. You want to save them for tomorrow. The rubber match at 10 a.m. with Emerson Hancock on the mound. But I don't want to lose this game fucking 5-0. Hopefully we get the good Trent and it stays 2-0 and we can pray for a miracle and get 2 and then go into extras and try to win 3-2 unless we have the epic meltdown game like we did against the Guardians and we end up scoring 2 or 3 and we end up winning here. So we'll see. All right, baby, come on now. We got to find a way. And the good thing about the Mariners is no matter whenever, it seems like the game is over, like 100%, with this particular team in 2025, we've had a lot of comebacks, not only in the 8th, but in the 9th, when a lot of teams are just left for dead, and it's just, it's over. But again, with the Mariners, it's never over till it's over, and we're very good with 2 outs as well. We could start a big rally and score 1 to 5 runs with 2 outs. So hopefully we can find a way to, at least tie it up and win in extras 3-2. First pitch from Thornton to Vasquez, low and away, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 1 ball and 1 strike from Thornton to Vasquez. And at least Thornton is hitting the strike zone early. 1-1 pitch, and Vasquez flies out to center. Julio's there, 1 away. Down goes Vasquez. Next up, center fielder Byron Buxton. First pitch from Thornton to Buxton. Big swing and a miss. 0-1 count. And it's crazy like how bad some of our pitchers were, even just a few weeks back. We have the number 1 bullpen since June 11th. So even guys like Thornton have been somewhat trustworthy. Maybe not 100%, but better than he was at the beginning of the year. Bottom of the 8th, 2-0 Twins lead. It was a pitcher's duel by Ryan and Kirby today. 3-hitter apiece. But again, they ended up getting the key RBI and the solo dinger to give them the 2-0 lead. 0-1 pitch, low and away with that sweeper by Thornton. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. 2-0 Twins lead. One pitch, fouled off right down the middle by Trent Thornton. Don't make me regret putting your photo up, my guy. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Thornton to Buxton. One-two pitch. That one is fouled off right down the middle. 4-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour. 2 balls, hopefully, and 2 strikes on the next pitch. But right now, 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out. 1-2 pitch. There it is. Pitch is low, but could have been called strike. Tried to paint the corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Come on, Trent. It's not over till it's over, even though it doesn't look very good right now. We need one epic meltdown by just one of their pitchers. 2-2 pitch. Low and away. That's the first real shitty pitch here this inning by Thornton. 2 feet off the plate. Count now full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Come on, Thornton. I don't even care if you get punch outs. Just get outs. Grounders and pop-ups. Do your job. Do your job. And Buxton grounds out to the pitcher. There you go. 2 away. You got to talk it into existence. All right, here we go. This is where we get out number 3, and we get out of the inning unscathed with a 2-0 deficit. Next up is Trevor Larnach. Larnach is good enough to get a hit or a home run for sure, but we got to be able to have this be 2-0. First pitch, takes a strike, looking with a cutter, 0-1 count. But good for Trent. You know, he's one of the worst players on the team with Mitch Garver and Donovan Solano, and you know, he's gotten a little bit better. Garver still stinks, and Solano has been amazing. 0-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. There we go. Nice job by Trent Thornton. And who would have thought, as one of the guys at the beginning of the year that gave up 5 homers in like the first 15 games, you know, and we were like, why is this guy on the team? Definitely turned it around. Nice job by Trent. And I haven't been able to say that in a long fucking time. Way to bring that electricity. Now we just need the bats to come alive here in the 9th. And we got the right guy to do it. Leading off for the Mariners. 0 for 3 with 3 Ks. Time to not face Joe Ryan. Let's get that solo dinger to get it started. Big dumper, Cal Raleigh. We need home run number 33, baby. Let's go. Batting second, 0 for 3. DHing Jorge Polanco. And batting third, 1 for 2 with a base on ball left fielder, Randy Arozarena. So this is the best part of the lineup that you could ask for, you know, with Cal. Besides maybe having Julio bat first, Cal bat second. But Cal batting first. Let's see if we can get it done here. Trident's up. Come on, Cal. And just for good luck, we're going to throw up the Florida State Cal Raleigh. We got to do anything and everything here. Let's go, baby. You were little dumper here, but now we need big dumper. Come on, baby. You know what we need. Let's go, big dumper. Top of the 9th. We're down 2. And obviously, there's a very good chance, 90% chance that we lose 2-0 or 2-1. But hopefully we can find a way and dig deep. And if we come back 2-2 in the 9th, I do believe that we can win it 3-2 in the 10th, 11th, or 12th. It's just about momentum. Let's go, Cal. And this is exactly what we need right here. Come on, Cal. Home run number 33. I mean, hell, even if we lose the game 2-1, it'll just be good to, you know, keep advancing Cal's stats. But can't win too many games when you score 0 to 3 runs. First pitch in play, and Cal grounds out to second. That wouldn't have been the pitch that I would have swung at, but, you know, every once in a while, I guess Cal's going to have an off game. That is disappointing. Should have been able to beat up Duran, and Cal wasn't able to get home run number 33, 1 away. Now with Cal out of the game, the chance of losing 2-0 goes up dramatically. Next up, DHing is Jorge Polanco. First pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. It's going to take a miracle now to come back, because now there's probably a 90% chance that they win 2-0. We have 10%. Like we need to find a rally, but I'm not sure if Polo and Randy can do it, but I still hope so. 0-1 pitch, low and away. We need an epic meltdown like Clase had for the Guardians when we faced him. We need guys to get hit, plunked, walked. We need help. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Duran on the mound, Polo in the box. Pitch, knuckle curve, and that one is low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Duran to Polo. We need walks, baby. Plunk us, hit us, walk us. That might be the only way that we come back. We need an assist. We need help. Top of the 9th, 2-0 Minnesota lead. 2-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Down goes Polo, 2 away. Now the chance of coming back is 1%. We're good with 2 outs, but man, we're really putting the pressure on Randy now. Top of the 9th with 2 outs. We're down 2-0. We're down to our potential last batter. And we are good with 2 outs, but not when we're at 0. So... But again, we got Emerson Hancock on the mound tomorrow, so even if we drop this game, we still have a chance to win 3 out of 4. And obviously, Minnesota is smiling ear to ear, winning this game, or potentially getting close to winning the game. Because if they win here today, they're going to have a chance tomorrow. Emerson Hancock was very shaky in his last start. And I don't want to split. I want to win 3 out of 4. You know, we need to keep pace with the Stros. Otherwise, we're always going to be 4.5, 5.5 back. First pitch from Duran to Randy Arozarena. High and inside, 1-0 count. Maybe we can get Randy with a walk or a double. Obviously, a home run would be great, but you know, getting a runner in scoring position with a double would be great as well. And a walk would be probably third best scenario. 1-0 pitch. Low and away. Here we go. 2 balls and no strikes from Duran to Randy Arozarena. And if Randy walks, you know, maybe we get a little bit of magic. Then we would have, obviously, you know, it was Luke Rayleigh and Donovan Solano until they made some adjustments. So we'll see where it goes from here. 2-0 pitch, in play, and Randy grounds out to second, doesn't take the walk, and that is the game. Final score, Minnesota Twins 2, Seattle Mariners 0, a disappointing loss. But again, we still have a good chance tomorrow to let the bats fly, and it'll be an easier matchup pitching-wise for the Mariners, where we should be able to get to 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. Congratulations to the Twins. You earned this one. Joe Ryan was an animal, and hopefully, again, Emerson Hancock will be better than the last outing. And it's going to be an early game tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific. So come through and hang out with your boy, and hopefully we can end up winning the series tomorrow. I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. Shout out to All Day, as well as Captain, for helping out. They're getting us to the 50-like number and beyond. And then shout out to Megan and Iron String to help us out on the Dono train. Final score, Minnesota Twins 2, Seattle Mariners 0. And I got one question for you. Who you know talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. And I'll be live tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific for the last matchup in the series. Tridents up, and I'm out. Go M's.